Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Aaron.
Aaron is back, everyone. I got to admit, this is going to be a short video, 10 minutes at the most. Absolutely a bit of gratuitous fun that we're having here. There is no greater purpose to this video except to talk about everyone's favorite homeboy, Xenu, our galactic overlord. So, okay, here's what I'm up to here. This video is in celebration of my Lex Fridman interview breaking 2 million views. Oh my God, how shallow am I? Looking at the view count of an interview I did on someone else's channel. Guys, the thing is, Lex Fridman is one of my favorite people on YouTube. Being invited onto his podcast to talk about Scientology is one of my proudest YouTube moments. And actually only to be surpassed by going on Andy Stumpf's Cleared Hot podcast. My interview with Lex was 2 hours long, highly edited. Our original conversation was closer to 4 hours. This interview that I did with Andy on the Cleared Hot podcast is a full unedited 3 hours. So actually that interview is more fun to watch. It was more fun to watch because it's fun to watch exactly what you did instead of seeing it chopped up. However, guys, Lex Fridman has a second channel called Lex Clips where he posts clips of his interviews. He broke our interview up. He used 16 excerpts, and those 16 excerpts have an additional combined 1.7 million views. Guys, guess which excerpt has exponentially more views than any other? The one, the only, your favorite homeboy, Xenu, Scientology's Galactic Overlord. The most confidential secret of secrets in Scientology. The 7-minute clip has been viewed 760,000 times. And it just makes me giddy, absolutely giddy, to think that Scientology's biggest secret is discussed in detail for 7 minutes on one of the biggest podcasts in the world. And so in honor of that, I just wanted to share with you the 7-minute chat with my boy Lex about everyone's favorite homeboy Xenu. Check this out, guys.
Of thetans stuck to your body.
Go to the beginning.
Of thetans stuck to your body. Yeah, about how at the lower non-confidential levels of Scientology's bridge, Hubbard is saying, we spoke earlier.
Can you describe Xenu, please?
We spoke earlier about how at the lower non-confidential levels of Scientology's bridge, Hubbard is saying that what's wrong with you is your reactive mind.
Yes.
Okay. Well, in Scientology, once you've gotten rid of your reactive mind, that is what's called the state of clear. Okay, so after you finish state of clear, the next thing on the bridge is the OT levels. Well, if you've already gotten rid of your active mind, what the heck are you supposed to do now? Well, now L. Ron Hubbard says, okay, first, what was wrong with you was just your reactive mind. But now the next thing you have to resolve, the next thing that's wrong with you is you actually have tens of thousands of thetans stuck to your body, and they all have their own reactive minds.
Oh, wow.
You have to audit the thetans.
How do you audit the things? Are these like different shades of your inner mind, and you just have to try to access them somehow?
You use the e-meter, just like we spoke about, except now you've got a divider that separates the cans so they don't short circuit, and you hold both cans in one hand, and you have the e-meter in front of you. So now you're auditing yourself. You're telepathically talking to the thetans that are stuck to you. You are thinking the commands instead of saying them out loud. And you sort of do drills where you practice looking for e-meter reads at the instant you have a thought. You're telepathically auditing spirits that L. Ron Hubbard says are stuck to your body. Does this sound like a recipe for a mental breakdown?
Or a heck of a mental journey? Wherever the
Guys, that is a Mike Rinder bobblehead sitting on the desk in front of Lex. I've seen the people in the comment section of his channel being like, is that Bill Clinton? Like, who is that? It's actually a Mike Rinder bobblehead. Purchased from the SP shop. All right, let's go.
that leads, it could lead anywhere. It probably lead to a very bad place, right?
Very often does. And you combine that with the fact that Scientology is against any forms of mental help or health outside of Scientology, and you have a recipe for disaster. Now, you might go, where did all these spirits come from that are stuck to your body? This is where Xenu comes into play. So Hubbard says that 75 million years ago, Xenu was basically a dictator at the Galactic Confederation is like 70 something or 80 something planets somewhere in the Milky Way. And Xenu was like a dictator, an overlord for either one of these planets or the whole system. And they had a population problem. And Xenu was like, we need to get rid of like half the people. So we called them all in for tax audits. L. Ron Hubbard didn't like the IRS. So of course the story has to do with tax audits. Okay. Called them all in for tax audits, said, psych bitches, froze them in glycol, loaded them up on space planes, flew them to Earth. Remember, the story has to be Earth because the story is what's wrong with us. Flew them to Earth, dropped them in volcanoes, blew them up with hydrogen bombs, and then captured them with like spirit magnets. I'm making up words because, okay. Yeah. And these disembodied spirits of these people that got blown up have just been blown in the wind here on Earth, and they attach themselves to things, and they can be in the environment, and they stick to bodies and everything. And so, and they all have reactive minds. So at Scientology's upper levels, if you get sick or you have cancer or there's something wrong with you, Scientology will say, that's one of your body things. You need to get some auditing to fix the body thing.
So this story, you do it with a kind of bit of a chuckle, but when done seriously, so it's just told in a serious way, or written down.
It's written down.
And you read it.
By most accounts, Scientologists struggle when they read this for the first time because this is not consistent with what Scientologists are hoping for is on the OT levels. They're hoping for some real life-changing magic. The way these things are described and sold, they're hoping that these OT levels are going to make them, give them the ability to go like completely independent of their body at will.
Yeah.
Exteriorize from your body, go back into your body, you know, like have some real spirit powers.
So first it's kind of a shock. But then you still probably believe, you hope.
Yeah.
And you might turn into on yourself, self-critical, that I'm just not strong enough yet.
Yeah, because also part of Scientology, remember, it works 100% of the time when used 100% correctly. And if it doesn't, it could be because something's not being done right, but it also could be because you're doing bad things that you're not telling people about. Like if you're committing present time overt crimes, sins, Scientologists will be like, that's part of the reason auditing isn't working on you, is because you're committing criminal behavior that you're not being honest about. So every Scientologist is sort of incentivized to make auditing work on them. Okay. Now, Lex, this is where it gets a little crazy. On OT3, you learn about the body thetans for the first time. When you finish OT3, you attest to having achieved this state of having no more body thetans. And then you start OT4. And he's like, psych, you got more BTs, except those other BTs, they had drug problems, and that's why you couldn't find them the first time. So we're going to do something a little different here, do something a little different there. Got to get rid of these BTs that were addicted to drugs. Okay. Then you finish OT4 and you're thinking, man, I hope we get to the good stuff soon. And then you get to OT5 and he's like, psych, you got more BTs. You couldn't find these BTs because they were all bunched up together in clusters. And first you have to break up the clusters and then you can get rid of the BTs. And you're like, okay, got to do that.
And this was all L. Ron Hubbard approved.
Yeah, this is from L. Ron Hubbard. And then after you finish OT5, you get rid of all the BT clusters. OT6 is just a training course to teach you how to audit OT7. Well, OT7 is now more BTs, except it's in the environment and stuff. You're trying to locate BTs. You can find them on your body, but it's just more BTs. Okay. And then OT8 is, remember we talked about in all these auditing sessions throughout the entire Scientology bridge, you have people who've run hundreds or thousands of past life whole track incidents. These memories have become part of their self-identity of who they even think they are. Yeah. OT8, you go through all these past life recalls, and essentially, I'm oversimplifying this a little bit. He goes, psych, all those past life memories weren't yours. They were your BTs. And he goes, now that you've discovered this, now you know who you are not. And you are ready to find out who you really are. Well, now you're supposed to find out who you really are on OT9 and 10. Those don't exist.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is incredible to me how interested people on the internet are on the subject of Scientology. Lex Fridman has one of the biggest podcasts in the world. He has published 30 interviews this year the calendar year. The Scientology interview is number 6 out of 30. And if you know Lex's podcast, you know the kind of people he's interviewing, the kind of subjects he's talking. He's speaking to industry leaders, titans of different industries and subjects. I mean, you guys know. If you know, you know. It continues to astonish me how interested people are in Scientology. And I don't think it's just because of Scientology itself. I think it's because there's so much shit out there in the world that controls people in a similar manner to how Scientology controls people. That when people listen to the Scientology stuff, it resonates with them, whether it's a horrible relationship they were in, or their family situation, or their own religious upbringing, or various. I hesitate to name other groups because many people who are in these groups go, "My group's the good one. Everyone else is the bad one." I'm not trying to alienate people, but you know, former members of other religions, religious groups, other cults, I think resonate with the Scientology stuff. I think so. And there's a media fascination with the Scientology stuff because of the celebrity stuff. I think that's probably a part of it as well. But anyway, that was just an excuse to show the Xenu clip, piss off David Miscavige a little bit more. Guys, our Monday Night Live SPTV starting in about 30 minutes. I may or may not do a tiny little live stream introing into that. We'll see. Let me see. There was one other. Oh, Couch. I don't want to disappoint you here, Couch. Non-Scientology question. I'm a cigar smoker too. What is your favorite cigar? Couch, I'm embarrassed to say that after 14 years of smoking cigars, I still don't have a favorite. I got to be honest with you. To me, there's cigars that taste bad, and there's cigars that don't. And those are my two categories of cigars. For the most part, I like mild cigars. Is it the Ecuadorian wrapper, the light colored wrapper? I'm not a sophisticated cigar smoker. I just enjoy smoking them for social reasons. Really, I don't even smoke cigars by myself. If I'm out with my friends, I'll smoke a cigar. I don't like go, oh, I really need to relax and have a cigar. So anyhow, sorry to disappoint you there. I'm a very unsophisticated character in that regard. Thank you, Couch. Carol Z just saying says, I think your assessment is spot on as to the interest in Scientology. Well, thank you very much, you guys. All right, guys, stay tuned. 30 more minutes, SPTV Live, Monday night. Going to have a really good time. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe